A new tournament, Gashimov Memorial 2023 in Azerbaijan. On your screen you have the young Indian talent Arjun Erigaisi. The guest comes in and makes the move knight f3. He is facing the legend Boris Gelfand. Knight comes out to f3, 15 minutes plus 10 seconds increment. Knight f6 played. And you can already see Boris has taken the queen in his hand and he loves to swiggle it. He loves to turn it around. d4 played and Arjun goes bishop b7. g3 played, and is Arjun's idea to... Oh, he takes the knight right out of the opening. He doubles white's pawns and just gives up his bishop. But now Boris has this amazing bishop on the long diagonal. So first Arjun gives a check and he says to Boris that I won't allow you to have the bishop pair. So he takes, queen takes, and now short castles it up. So it's the battle of two knights versus a bishop and knight, and doubled pawns for white. d5 played in the center. If white takes, then knight would nicely be placed there. So he takes it, but he takes back with the pawn. He doesn't take it with the knight. That is a small surprise for me. But now Arjun places his pawns on c6, and you can see these two pawns are kind of a barrier against the bishop on g2. Knight a6, and Boris pushes his pawn to f4. Arjun brings his knight back to c7. Will the knights triumph, or will the bishop reign supreme on the diagonal? That has to be seen. I love how Boris has kept his pawn on f5, limiting the black knight from coming to e6. And rook e5, another power-packed move. He wants to double down the e-file, but immediately Arjun asks Boris's rook to leave. But the rook comes back to e3, still keeping the aims of doubling, and that's what he does. But Arjun has been very smart. He brings his king in. He wants to trade the rooks, but g4 played. King side is being expanded. h6 by Arjun, trying to keep the pawns under check. The bishop moves forward. Maybe the king will move ahead. That's how these players play. And rook takes rook. He takes back with the rook now. Black's position does look much more solid now with more and more pieces getting traded. It's not so easy to create play in the endgame. But now after rook takes rook, do you take back with the pawn or the queen? He takes back with the pawn and Arjun goes back. Now this square on e4 is a massive weakness. Imagine that you get your knight here, which is what Arjun does, and the other knight goes from here to here and then sits here. Oh my goodness. Is this going to be something like a positional grind from Arjun Erigaisi? It feels like it. Knight goes back to e8 and Boris wants to enter here, but he can't do that instantly. a5, very smart move. If you come here, queen b4 is game over. Black is winning. So he first plays a3, stopping that move. And now Arjun goes with his knight to d6. He could have also pushed his pawn b5, b4 and then got in here. But he goes knight d6, bishop goes to e2. And now b5 played. Pressing, black is pressing. Will Boris be able to withstand the pressure that Arjun's putting in? King goes back to g8. And h4, Boris wants to play on the king side as well. But now, can you push the knight away and then plonk one of your knights? Yes, that's what he does. Takes. The knight goes back to d1. But let's go on the e4 square. That's a nice square there. And also the h4 pawn would be hanging. Yes, he plays his knight in. And takes. Oh, do you take with the knight or you take with the pawn? He takes with the knight. Knight f2. But now, can you take this pawn? No, but then you lose your pawn in the center. So he takes here, but queen takes back. Pawns are equal and the queen defends the h4 pawn. Arjun comes in with a check. He still has that small bit of activity working for him. But will that be enough? Boris Gelfand has been defending fantastically, and now b3 and queen c2 could be an idea. g5. Whoa, he's trying to play on the king side. h5 played, stopping the white pawns, but queen f4. King comes up. And now Boris has given up his b2 pawn to create play on the king side. King h3. But we have to see with 50 seconds left if Arjun can find some counterplay here for himself to keep the game going. Queen f5 check, king goes back and he gives another check, king comes up and a draw. Maybe they agree to a draw, and you can see there Boris feels that it could be a draw, but no, Arjun wants to fight on. Arjun wants to fight on, take with the king. Take with the king. If there's a check, you just run this side. But he goes king h7. Maybe not the best idea. A check again. And now you can block with the queen. That's possible. But then white would just move the queen away. So king h6 played. Check. And king g6. Another check would come in. Oh, he plays b3. He's somehow giving an opportunity for Arjun to go wrong. He's saying, try Arjun. Try if you want to win. But it's not going to be easy. Repetition. Perhaps. Will Arjun take it? Yes, check here. And they both look at each other and draw. Whoa.